Part 15. Arcane Age. Author, Yulin Dudu. Chapter 143. 80 years ago, the powerful powers of the entire Orient continent, including the Kingdom of France, the Rhine Union, the Kingdom of Risa, the Kingdom of Itan, and the other 12 principalities and city-states were the glory of the Lord. Under the unity of the Church, the Holy Norman Empire was put under pressure, and the two sides signed a treaty, the Treaty of Settlement, in the picturesque town of Seaton, which has 1,000 years of history. This treaty stipulates that any warship armored ship shall not appear in an area within 100 nautical miles of the territory of the contracting country. Otherwise, it is regarded as the sacred Norman Empire's declaration of war against all the countries that have signed the contract and the blasphemy of the Church of the Glorious Lord. A red-haired young man wearing a naval uniform from the Holy Norman Empire appeared on the deck of the Saint Estanba. He hugged his hands around his chest and looked satisfied. Who I saw? Sea Wolf King Cook. Red-haired Queen Catalina. There is also a Japanese elf. It's really an interesting combination. It seems that you have reached an alliance. This alliance is related to the Deep Sea Horn, not. Katrina knows that if Gugri controls the situation, then he has no possibility of starting the Deep Sea Horn. Now it is necessary to maintain the loose alliance that has just formed to counter the pressure brought by the Saint Esparta. She took a deep breath and said loudly, Brigadier General Gregory Estanba. The Deep Sea Horn is in a mysterious eccentric plane. The plane of this plane is now in our hands. The passage of the plane is very small. The ship that is so small that you can't enter at all. If you want to join the chase of the Deep Sea Horn, we can count you. But we will never hand over the secrets of the hand. The magical guide is strong, but it is impossible to leave us. Catalina thought that it was Cook's thought that the two pirate kings quickly reached a consensus in the shortest possible time. Gugri was hesitating, and he walked over with the silver-haired beauty. It was Christine, the head of the master on St. Estanba. After she whispered and Gugri said two things, Gugri turned cloudy and sunny. He pretended to make a hearty laugh. Good. I will join you for your cooperation. St. Estanba left the route and followed the three ships to continue the voyage. This time, it only took 1.5 days. At a twilight moment that was about to fall, the fleet was guided by the red-haired Queen Catherine to a blue sea. It is important to know that this place is located in the center of the Golden Sea, and there are dark blue seas in the vicinity of the dark blue. Only the appearance of the sea area seems to return to the shallow sea area. Do you see the small island in front? The plain channel is there. Katrina's voice just fell, and the whole person flew out in general, and I didn't know what skills she used. The slender figure was fast on the sea. Stepping through, leaving only a circle to prove her footprint. Ziwei used flying, and Natalia also flew up with the power of the epic Longsword King, holding Freya in his arms. The 8 immortals crossed the sea and each showed their magic. Soon, the Sea Wolf King Cook, Thomas, and Gugri on the St. Estanba and the silver-haired beauty Christine all came to this desolate and remote island. Bypassing a small hill, the entrance is a magical stone column, the middle one is more coarse, and there are 8 slightly smaller stone columns around. Each stone pillar is engraved with complicated patterns, which are not simple decorations, which contain mysterious power. Ziwei was keenly aware that the silver-haired beauty who walked with Gugri was slightly bright, and was analyzing the secrets of the patterns engraved on these stone pillars. Obviously this is a magician's pier. If Catalina is not deceiving, then these pillars are equivalent to a stable space transmission matrix. This is not the transmission matrix between the various floors and the underground secret room in the Master Tower of Ziwei, but the transmission array that connects 2 different planes. There is no doubt that there is tremendous value. The key to open the channel must stand on the stone pillar in the middle. Other people who want to enter must choose a stone pillar to stand on it. There are 8 stone pillars here, only 8 people can be transmitted. Sea Wolf King Cook said that he tried his best. After the message, R2. The Blue Wolf did not come, and the Sea Wolf King Cook and the high-ranking magician Thomas were the only candidates. We only have one person, Catherine's only trusted first officer, Kururu, must be guarded on the Red Tulip, and only one of her can enter. R2, Ziwei said shortly. So it seems to leave us three positions. Cook sent a signal to the sky, and soon a knight appeared beside him. When Ziwei opened the eyes of Silver Moon and looked at it, the knight was light armor, the sword in his waist, and the boots on his feet were all shining with bright magical light. The way to open is very simple. The little girl stands on the middle pillar and drops her blood in the groove of the stone pillar. Only the blood of Francis can activate the plane channel transmission. After the Sea Wolf King Cook said the opening method and Thomas stood on the stone pillars in the west and southwest directions. Katrina chose the pillars in the southeast direction. Obviously, the two pirate kings concealed a lot of valuable news. Ziwei and Natalia also selected stone pillars in two directions in the east and the northeast. The silver-haired beauty stood between Thomas and Catherine, and Guguri and the heavily armed knight stood on the last two pillars. Guguri's face is not lost or dissatisfied, and Ziwei, who has completed the foundation of emotional magic, finds that the son of the Marquis of the Holy Norman Empire seems very confident to get the most mysterious Francis of the legendary strongman. Treasures. Natalia put Freya gently on the central pillar, and Freya stood on the stone pillar, waiting for the unknown fate. You can start, the sky will be late, a sky, and the island will soon be shrouded in darkness. Natalia's long sword slid gently, bringing a wind blade, and precisely cut a small wound on Freya's wrist. Freya bent down and let the red blood flowing out of the wound flow into the small groove. Although it has been experiencing wind and sun, this groove is as clean as new, without any dust. When Freya's blood flowed in, the stone groove seemed to be turned into a desert, and all the blood was greedily absorbed without leaving any traces. However, at the top of the central stone pillar, a slight white light appeared. Sea Wolf King Cook shines, it works. It seems that this little girl is indeed the daughter of Francis. Continue to bleed, don't stop. Welcome to the book, friends. To visit, the latest, fastest, most fire serials are available at mobile users. Please read. Arcane Age. Author, Yulin Dudu. Chapter 144. Everyone has excitement and anticipation in his eyes, as if the deep sea horn is at your fingertips. However, Ziwei's attention has been concentrated on Freya on the central stone pillar. Her blood is flowing outwards, but the speed of the central stone pillar is so slow. At the current speed, how much blood is needed to completely illuminate the central pillar? Ziwei asked. 2,200 milliliters, Zero replied. Even if adults lose blood so much, they will shock, and Freya's words will almost die. How is the research on special blood vessels progressing? Looking at the blood flowing from the bottom of the blood, the central stone pillar spread slowly from top to bottom, and Ziwei calmly asked, such a big bleeding, it is not simple to use the silver moon. Healing. Since coming to this world, Ziwei has been very interested in magic. The special blood of the Night Warlock and the practice of the military are very valuable. Early in the West, after obtaining the consent, he used a needle to absorb a small amount of blood from Charlotte, the blood of the unknown warrior, and the blood of Natalia, the blood of the knight. These special blood vessels have completely different polymers from normal humans. The mitochondria and other unnamed parts in the cells can provide a lot of energy. The current blood research on Freya has been carried out in the second stage, and its special can be reproduced. Blood. Let's get started. Now convert 2,000 milliliters of Freya blood. Insufficient resources. Transforming Freya blood requires a lot of special trace substances and energy, and inventory resources can only make about 1,350 ml. All conversions, Ziwei issued an order, but this means that Freya will lose another 850 milliliters of blood. It's not just that Ziwei is aware of this. As time goes by, Freya's face is getting whiter and whiter, and she can't see a trace of blood. The little girl can't stand it anymore and can only be put on the stone pillar. It's a poor little beauty. The beautiful flowers will wither before they have bloomed. Guguri's look of sadness and sorrow was expressed in a tone like an aria. She is still too small. The blood in the body is not awakened. Francis, the tyrant of the sea, only needs to drop a drop of blood on the stone column to open the transmission array, Sea Wolf King Cook said in a low voice. Seeing that the beautiful little girl is going to die in front of everyone, everyone is in silence and no longer speaks. Compared to a living life, it is even more important to be able to pursue the legendary mystery of the deep sea horn. The red sun has fallen and the silver moon has risen. Under the radiance of silver moon, the power of the Elnis Blessing series of spells will be improved. 11 Way waved a star and landed on the little girl. The power of the silver moon has been improved, the spirit of the little girl is better, but the blood flow speed is also accelerated. However, even if the upgraded silver moon is still not enough to greatly stimulate the hematopoiesis in Freya, at least the 6-ring spell used by Natalia on the body's bones to break the body can save Freya. Life. The silver-haired beauty finally sighed, "Don't bother. This will only make her wake up to death. It is a torture for her." Although the voice of the silver-haired beauty is faint, it is full of charm. The average young man is afraid that if he hears this voice, he will be crazy and willing to pay for her. Ziwei was unmoved, and every time he took a star, so that Freya remained awake. The girl's teeth bit her lips tightly, and her big eyes sparkled with crystal tears, but she never let the tears flow out. She quietly looked at the wound on her wrist as if she would never heal, and the blood flowed like a creek. She had already had such a speculation. Before the death, she actually realized that there was no resentment and anger in her heart. Instead, she was full of tranquility and relaxation before her death. Just use my death to repay the kindness of Ziwei Tudor and Gao Tower. I hope that my younger brother Bordeaux can grow up in the tower, and become a powerful magician in the future, and set up a family to inherit the Tangguan family. However, at the last moment, Freya's mind flashed back to the warm and powerful hand of Ziwei's mentor, and the firm and confident promise, reassured, "Freya, you are my disciple, I will do my best to ensure your safety." Gradually, the blood is getting slower and slower, and the white light on the central pillar is not more than half. However, Freya, who has lost nearly 1,000 milliliters of blood, is already on the verge of shock. Even the silver moon can no longer keep her waking up. At this time, the star of the silver moon flew away, directly healing the wound on the girl's wrist, smoothing the white, and no longer seeing traces of injury. Day Wizard Master, Captain Cook was shocked and angry. Cut off the supply of blood, the white light on the central stone column no longer extended, but there was a sign of contraction. Everyone's eyes turned to Ziwei. Ziwei did not open, the left hand spread flat in front of him, a blue light flashed, a bright red blood ball suddenly suspended in the palm of Ziwei's palm. "This is," Thomas sniffed, "do you store the blood of Freya in advance?" Everyone suddenly realized that I didn't expect your elf to be so extraordinary and extraordinary. It turned out to be an evil magician who took blood tests. Blood magic, undead magic, curse magic, spiritual magic, these spells are not allowed for the Church of the Glorious Lord. Even between the magicians, there is a very bad evaluation. Other magicians also reject these magicians, so these people can only live in isolation, more and more gloomy and evil. Thomas is one of the models. If you are not promoted to a 5-ring high-level magician, I am afraid no one is willing to deal with him. The ball of blood slowly floated over the central stone pillar, and the stone pillar seemed to live alive. The white light flashed and swallowed the blood ball quickly. With the blood ball of 1,500 ml of Freya's blood all plunged into the stone pillar, the entire central pillar lit up from the beginning to the end with dazzling white light, almost re-dyeing the night into white. The earth is tremble, energy is gathering. Transmission array, to be opened, Captain Cook shouted. The white light masterpiece completely drowned the Freya on the central stone pillar, and then all the surrounding 8 stone pillars vacated white light. The entire transmission array was fully activated. Welcome the readers to read. The latest, fastest, the most popular serial works are available at mobile users. Please read. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Arcane Age. Author, Yulin Dudu. Chapter 145. The process of plane transfer is like sitting on a super-stimulated roller coaster. This violent discomfort does not feel like the short-distance transmission between the towers. This time it is very obvious. About 2 minutes later, Ziwei finally came out of the plane, surrounded by endless sea water, and Ziwei was in the midst of a vast ocean. Underwater breathing, Ziwei first blessed himself with this ring spell, which allowed him to breathe fresh air in the water. While still sailing on the ship, Xavier Zero left a mark on the body of Natalia and Flea, and they were able to sense their position at any time. Natalia is about 18,400 meters away, and Flea's position can't be locked. It is certain that Freya is very safe at the moment. She is also in this plane. Zero projected on the retina of Ziwei. A simple holographic map, not far from a green dot, represents Natalia. Looking around, this area of the sea is not too deep, because there is still a faint light, and the pressure in the water is also affordable. Although Ziwei has not yet cultivated the spirit of true water in the heart of the lake, but the understanding and control of the water element has reached a higher level. In such an environment where all of them are composed of water, Ziwei easily controls the sea water around him and forms a small undercurrent, which promotes the rapid progress of Ziwei's body. At the very fast speed, Ziwei headed for Natalia's position, while in the holographic field of vision, the green dot representing Natalia was flying up. Obviously, Natalia does not have the ability to breathe underwater. After a few minutes, Natalia's figure stopped and no longer continued to rise. However, Zero detected that the oxygen content in her body was getting lower and lower. Obviously she had not jumped out of the sea and breathed fresh air. 11 Wei quickly accelerated the speed, brought a rapids behind him, and swam quickly toward Natalia's position. It's strange, why have you swam so far, but you haven't seen even a fish or a sea creature? Even the most common shrimps and seaweeds are completely gone, and the entire sea area is completely dead, without any breath of life. Natalia began to move in the horizontal plane, and the oxygen consumption rate in her body began to slowly decline. Obviously Natalia used some skill similar to tortoise. 20 minutes later, Ziwei finally arrived at Natalia's position. From the far side, Natalia had already taken off her heavy body. The white gold hair was floating, and the white clothes on her body were immersed in the sea. Then it became a bit translucent, and the reddish skin inside was looming like a legendary mermaid. Ziwei accelerated again, and all the way up, he finally saw Natalia's face. Natalia closed her eyes, her face was quiet and indifferent, as if she was not suffocating, but enjoying a wonderful lunch break. Ziwei looked up, and above the sea, it was seamlessly followed by a solid rock that shone with white fluorescence. The light that illuminates the entire sea is exuded by these translucent walls. Natalia has used the epic sword to drill a cave a few meters deep on the rock wall, but the sea has completely filled the vacancy. The thickness of this rock wall is far beyond imagination. Zero, quickly help me to analyze how to breathe underwater breathing. The underwater breathing that Ziwei learned relies on the magician's control of the water element. Natalia's body contains far more power than ordinary people, so the consumption of oxygen is also very large. Now many of the functions in her body have been shut down under a special skill. It can be said that it has fallen into a state of sleep. The kind and brave Prince of Siwei, come forward quickly, and wake up the sleeping beauty with your kiss of true love. the zero voice echoed in the mind of Ziwei in time. Although it has only been a few months since I came to this world, I have been turning around in remote places, but Ziwei has already seen many beautiful women. Smart and lovely Meryl, passionate Charlotte, intellectually mature Mrs. Winschell, elegant and elegant Countess, and the mysterious charm of the silver-haired beauty who just met. But the only thing that made 11 Wei give birth to a feeling of love between men and women, only the big lady Natalia in front of me. She is full of enthusiasm, she is full of energy, she is arrogant, she has the courage to bear, she pity the weak, she is trustworthy. All these sparkling noble qualities dress her soul so beautiful, people cannot help but approach her, worship her and love her. After the last simple change of Natalia, Missy has already met the aesthetics of Ziwei. No. Ziwei suddenly realized that Zero actually secretly changed the shape of Missy according to the most beautiful female image in her heart. Oh, Master Ziwei, I have been monitoring the hormones secreted by your body. In the face of Natalia, the hormone is the strongest. Right, I have a comprehensive report here, including you are facing each the physical reaction of a woman needs to be transmitted to you, the zero-toned voice sounded again. 11 Wei has a red face. Although he has had decades of life experience, he has never talked about a love, and Zero has made him have to face up to his true desires. The iron tree has finally blossomed for many years. The owner of Ziwei, you have to cheer. My artificial intelligence contains 357 experiences of love lovers, and I can guide you at any time. Ziwei subconsciously stood up in the sea and straightened out the scattered hair. This slowly stretched out the trembling hands and took Natalia like a sleeping mermaid in his arms. The kiss was printed on the girl's pink lips. Opening the closed jaw, Ziwei put fresh oxygen into Natalia's mouth. Natalia, as a subconscious reaction of the drowning man, greedily took the oxygen in the mouth of Ziwei, clutching the lips of Ziwei tightly, and probed the soft tongue. I don't know how long it took, with a Sakura, Natalia finally opened her eyes slowly. Ziwei bravely looked at her, and her eyes filled with deep love. Natalia's eyes lingered, and when she realized what had happened, a bright smile bloomed on her face, like a blooming red rose. She clung to Ziwei and responded enthusiastically, showing her heart with practical actions. So Ziwei and Natalia embraced each other in the bright sea, and their lips and tongues intersected. The endless stone walls above the sea sparkled with crystal light, illuminating the figure of the monks. Zero did not bother the couple who had just confirmed the relationship. She secretly opened the holographic recording and saved this memorable romantic scene. PS 300,000 words, the protagonist should also be in love, the first female owner has been confirmed. Miss Natalia defeated Meryl and Charlotte's competitors and won the championship. Welcome to the readers to read. The latest, fastest and hottest serials are available at mobile users. Please read. Arcane Age. Author, Yulin Dudu. Chapter 146. This love filled with affectionate kisses for a long time, because Natalia is a little uncontrollable, Ziwei's lips are a bit numb. I said, Zero, for so long, is there a way to show underwater breathing to others? Ziwei couldn't help but vomit. I think I can wait a little longer. Ha ha ha, make a joke, the solution to the problem is to make a magical thing that can stimulate underwater breathing. Ziwei's eyes are bright, which is obviously the best and easiest way. Then make a magic ring. Zero in his own exclusive space, he quickly used the most precious materials to process the ring, using the shape of a ring that had been the highest price in the world, and perfectly reproduced its appearance. 11 Wei made a look at Natalia and then gently released his arms. Natalia also guessed the intention of Ziwei. The lips of the two people were finally separated, and this long kiss was finally over. From the space, Ziwei took out the purely water-filled arcane crystal that has been precisely cut and matched with the setting. The magic flame accurately engraves the underwater breathing spell model on the white gold setting, which will be dark blue. The blue crystal is placed on top, and a beautiful and gorgeous ring is completed in an instant. Zai Wei's right hand gently held the freshly baked magic ring, and left the hand of Natalia's jade hand, solemnly wearing an artistic ring on Natalia's left middle finger. On the mainland of Orient, the ring worn in this position means that the ring owner is in love. Throughout the process, Natalia's face was reddish, but she always had a sweet smile. At this time, she was much more feminine than usual, and she was not glamorous. The inner ring size of the ring fits perfectly with Natalia's and is perfectly fixed in the most suitable position. The activation password is, the mermaid's kiss. Zai Wei extended the white and slender index finger and gently wrote it on Natalia's palm. In fact, there are 10,000 ways for Zai Wei to convey this information to Natalia, but obviously this way is more romantic. Natalia's lips were slightly open, and the blue crystals flashed. Natalia immediately felt as if she was on the ground and could breathe fresh air at any time. 11 Wei also hangs a magic version of the intercom inscribed in the ear of Natalia, and the two can finally communicate through language. Before I was in a coma, I knew that you would come, Natalia smiled and the two dimples swayed. I didn't prepare in advance, this is my mistake. Zai Wei's burning eyes stared at the beautiful girl, but it's really a joy to harvest a sincere love. But my first kiss, Natalia, although somewhat shy, said in a big way, this is my first love, I hope this is the last love. The hand of the child, and the child is old. Zai Wei clung to Natalia's hand and made a promise with a permanent. Perhaps some people can't live with the red-haired beauty in the tower, but the feelings cannot be considered with reason. Fortunately, the relationship between Charlotte and Charlotte is only awkward. Above AUO, the lover is not full. After a deep affection for a long time, Natalia finally shifted the subject. How is Freya? She is very safe now? She is in this plane, but she can't determine the specific location. Zai Wei said, this ectopic face will not be very big. This piece of sea is lifeless and full of deadness. Let's leave here. Zero has conducted in-depth research on the scanning function of the master tower in the time of controlling tailing. Although it is limited by the fact that the spell level has not been fully replicated, it is now possible to simply scan the creature within 3 kilometers of the west. On the darkest sea floor, there were a pair of weird big eyes, and the two people were seen leaving. It is obvious that the zero search function could not find this mysterious existence. Zai Wei controls the nearby water flow and pushes the two people to swim in one direction. The stone walls above the sea are also endless, and the faint fluorescence has been shining. When I moved forward about 2 magics, I had traveled for about 100 kilometers. The temperature of the surrounding sea water slowly rose, and seaweed and fish and shrimp appeared gradually along the way. Look what it is, Natalia pointed excitedly at the bottom. The following is a submarine village. All the buildings are built by the stone wall that glows like white marble on the sea. West Villa took Natalia's hand and dive all the way. After about 200 meters of dive, the two men's footsteps fell on the same white marble paved road on the seafloor. There are no people in this village. It has been completely abandoned. After a simple walk around the village, the joy of life and civilization was once again dissipated. From the height of the eaves of the room, the height of the submarine residence here should be very high. The average should be about 5 meters. And the combat power should not be bad, Zai Wei analyzed. Look at some scattered daily items in the room, obviously they are very hasty when they retreat. So that means they encountered an enemy that could not resist, and this had to leave their home. Natalia G and me I slightly provoked. We still need more information. Or accelerate it. Zai Wei once again activated the jet stream. For the deep sea horn, what do you think of Zai Wei? Natalia continued to ask. The other 3 parties have obviously done a lot of preparatory work. We can't surpass them more than speed. Or take Freya safely as the top priority. For each more understanding of this ectopic face, we will be safer. Points. As for the deep sea horn, I am fortunate to have lost my life. If it falls in my hands, I will never give up. After about 50 kilometers, I finally found a field of neat blue mysterious plants planted in the far side of the sea. Not far away is a white marble house. The difference is that there are people living in this village. 11 Wei cast a stealth on himself and Natalia, and can maintain a stealth state when he is still. It is a practical ring magic. The residents of the submarine village finally appeared in front of the two. A kind of resident Kongwu is powerful and tall. As Zai Wei judges, he is 5 meters high. They have a large snake-like scale with a thick lower body. The upper body has thick arms. The scales covering the surface of the skin are thick and strong, just like a layer of armor. The other kind of residents are obviously women. They are tall and slim. Their scales are much finer than the scales of male residents. Except for the same snake-like lower body, the upper body is more similar to human appearance. Welcome to the readers to read. The latest, fastest, most popular serial works are available at mobile users. Please read. Arcane Age. Author, Yulin Dudu. Chapter 147. This is a small village. There are large plots of seaweed planted on the edge of the village. Each house has a seahorse-like creature at the door. The whole village looks round and the building has a simple beauty, which means the residents of the seabed also have their own civilization. Zai Wei's gaze patrolled for half a day and eventually found a fisherman who graze fish outside the village. This is a male resident. His mental strength is not high. Zai Wei easily infiltrated his mind into his brain, and the information of this underwater world was also learned by Zai Wei. About 15 minutes later, Zai Wei let go of the control of the fisherman. He only felt that he seemed to sleep up for a while, and he did not realize that his memory had been retrieved by an alien visitor. This submarine race is called Naga. It is a matriarchal society. Women's Naga IQ is higher. All the sacrificial offerings and casters in Naga are women, and their relative status is higher. Talia explained. This fisherman has not left his home too far. He knows little information. But the whole sea is almost the territory of the Naga kingdom. In the Far East, the king of the Naga kingdom is Sagana. Seoul, there are the Naga palace and the temple of the sea god. The temple? Is there still a there? Natalia asked with some concern. This is just an ectopic face. The whole Naga kingdom cannot be bigger than the French kingdom. Such a small plane can never give birth to a true god, Zai Wei confirmed. Through the essays on Descartes' elemental magic book, Zai Wei has a simple understanding of the world's top power. Even if the seven-ring magician or the seventh order other professions have obtained the master's certificate, the masters of these masters have a very prominent position in the secular. Even if they are ordinary, they can obtain the status that matches their own strength through struggle. This is the case with Sea Wolf King Cook. Every time a professional upgrades his or her own level, the body can be greatly strengthened. The promotion of spells and priests and other caster occupations even involve the soul level, which makes the life of a strong professional far beyond the limits of mortals. The masters of the masters, who live to be 120 years old, still maintain a force of 1989. The caster is a long-lived, and the master caster can even live for 200 years. The eight-ring magician has become more powerful. Many people have been stuck at this stage for many years, and the pursuit of the legendary road is not available, but there are many long-lived old monsters at this level, many of whom are forced to break through during their lifetime. Become a wizard of the Lich. However, due to the severe attack on the necromancer by the Church of the Glorious Lord, most of these magicians left the main plane and continued to pursue magic and power in the vast and endless multifaceted planes. The Eighth Order powerhouse often plays in some important and prominent positions in various kingdoms, such as the three important positions of the Kingdom of France, the Hand of the King, the Sword of the King, the Shield of the King, all Eight Order blood knights of the great aristocracy. Strong. The strongman of this rank is honored as the pillar of the country, which can be referred to as the pillar country. The nine-ring magician is already a legendary strongman. Each legendary powerhouse of this level is a legend of the entire Orient continent. Their heroic deeds are widely spread in pubs throughout the mainland. The legendary magician of the Nine Rings is one of the best, with a millennium life that is close to the elves, and one can kill one country. The strongest of this level, even if you look at the entire continent of Orient, you can easily come over. This level of power is rarely held in the secular, but if a country does not have a legendary strongman, then the country cannot really take the peak. Therefore, the legendary powerhouses are collectively referred to as the Township Strong. It is already a category of myths and legends in the past, and the mystery is also a secret to mortals and even high-level magicians at the level of Descartes. But the name of the level has been passed down. 10th Order Sanctuary. The 11th Order God. The 12th Order is the true God. At present, there are only two true gods recognized in the multidimensional plane of the whole of the Orient continent, the Glorious Lord and Ms Yen. If the kingdom of Naga really enshrines a true god, no, even if it is only a demigod, this kingdom is by no means a singularity of Guguri, Catherine, and Cook. What is the reason for the abandoned village? Natalia continued to ask. The sea was originally the sea and the ranch of the Naga, but just over a decade ago, there was a horrible monster that swallowed up all the life there. The Naga kingdom once organized the army to conquer monsters. However, it failed to return. After that, the territory of the Naga kingdom retreated nearly 200 nautical miles, and gave the sea to the king of the Dead Sea. The Dead Sea? It's really a description of the image. This means that the location we just came to this plane is the Dead Sea? So why didn't you meet the king of the Dead Sea? Maybe the one is sleeping? But at the time, there was indeed a stir in my heart urged me to stay away from the sea. More than a decade ago? Isn't that the time when the tyrant of the sea, Francis, last appeared in this plane? Natalia suddenly reacted. Yes, this matter should be related to Francis and even the deep sea horn, but we can't act rashly. Instead, we should go to the kingdom of the Naga kingdom and really understand the strength of this deep sea country. Maybe you can figure out the Dead Sea. The general strength of the king, Ziwei, is still very cautious. A small Naga village is so beautiful, I really want to see what the Naga king is like. Then go ahead, Natalia quickly urged. No hurry, there are at least hundreds of nautical miles from the king. And the time of the 3-year-old sea festival is coming, the whole Naga kingdom should be in the carnival. Every village and town in the country will choose the most beautiful the Naga girl, known as the Poseidon daughter, and the most powerful Naga warrior, went to the Sakyar in the kingdom to participate in the Poseidon festival. It is said that the sea will appear and bless the night of the championship. Not only the contest, but also a grand event. Even in the most remote areas, every Naga must go to the king of Sagnar in a lifetime to attend a sea festival. This is also a pilgrimage. Ziwei smiled and explained, exactly, we can also find a team of villages that want to participate in the Poseidon festival, join them and go to Sagnar together. Right, there is a small town called Kaha not far away. La, the Poseidon daughter and the Naga warrior selected from the 8 nearby villages are conducting a test there. We can visit. Welcome to the readers to read, the latest, fastest and hottest serials at mobile phone users. Please read. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Arcane Age. Author, Yulin Dudu. Chapter 148. 11 ways rumors in the changing school's spells are not high, except that he has mastered a few simple 2-ring intensification spells such as Bear Power. Even the most provocative 4-ring spell change sheep just smell its name and not see its spell model. Therefore, it is impossible to transform himself into a Naga. It is impossible for Natalia to complete the disguise. Therefore, Ziwei has already prepared for the opportunity to integrate into the Naga society. The Poseidon festival is undoubtedly the best opportunity. The two men went on for about 10 kilometers again, and there was a small town in Kahara not far away. The entire Naga kingdom's building materials are almost all from the white marble wall at the top of the sea, and these natural white stone walls are called the Stone of Heaven by the Naga people. In the center of the small town of Kahara is a temple of the sea gods. Almost all the residents in the nearby villages have gathered here, and the Poseidon daughter and Naga, which were selected for the village that was being selected for the Poseidon festival. The warriors cheered. At the center of the temple of the sea god is a large round and complete white marble wall with a radius of nearly 100 meters. It looks very magnificent and solemn, and the two strong Naga warriors are struggling to fight. They are holding metal long rafts, and the waves are infinite. The two are evenly matched, and they have not decided to win or lose. The men and women under the stone wall raised their arms high, shouting neat slogans in their mouths, desperately cheering for the warriors they supported. At the level of strength, we have reached the level of the fourth order powerhouse. But the skill is still very young. The real combat power is about the same as the third order warrior Natalia attached to Zyweir and whispered. This is just a battle between several village brave. In the main plane, a third order fighter is qualified to be the captain of the city defense or the centurion of a legion. The two men did not hide their presence this time, so they were quickly discovered by the Naga. Not long after, the two rows were covered with black ribbons, and the Naga warriors, who were more unusual on the Naga, were armed with weapons. The neat team swam over and they guarded a female Naga. This female Naga is already very old, but it is very majestic. In the zero detection, this female Naga is a fourth order caster. Who are you? Why is it here? Female Naga asked. Her voice was cold and ruthless, and her eyes were examined. Obviously, it would be a big fight if she didn't agree. I am a mage from the mainland of Orient, a plane traveler. This is my partner. We had an accident in a plane transmission and it appeared in this beautiful sea. How are you? Calling, Zyweir politely responded to the learning language spell. The plane traveler, asked Naga, who was puzzled, but soon she corrected her attitude and warned, the outsider, here is the territory of the Naga kingdom, I am the sacrifice of the sea god, the guardian of the sea area. If you dare to offend the great Naga kingdom and his royal highness, then death is your only ending. I am a traveler, not a conqueror. I have no intention of being an enemy of the Naga kingdom. On the contrary, I really like to see other ethnic cultures. Are you celebrating a celebration? I wonder if you welcome me to this foreigner. Visit. The old sacrifices examined Zyweir for a long time, and Zyweir felt her mental power scan. This is rude, but Zyweir did not say anything. The triennial Poseidon festival is about to begin. We are selecting the Poseidon daughter and the Naga warriors. Outsiders, His Royal Highness Poseidon welcomes any guests who come with goodwill, but I hope you don't move some brains. Last time after the warning of Zyweir, the face of the old sacrifice was also much better. Kahela is just a small town in the frontier. Over the years, the unchanging Poseidon festival has been smashed, and there have been two guests with different faces. It is still a plain traveler, and it sounds like a tall man. This is really the glory given by His Royal Highness. So Zyweir and Natalia stood far below the white marble wall and watched the battle of a group of Naga warriors. The battle between these Naga warriors looks very intense, but in fact there is not too high technical content, but out of courtesy, Siv and Natalia still maintain a look that is completely attracted to attention. After about 2 magical moments, the final winner was finally decided. The old sacrifices swam up and put on the top 3 without the color of the ribbon, in recognition of their Wu Yang. Next, I went to the competition of the Poseidon daughter. The female Naga who participates in the Poseidon festival must be a girl who is not yet married. The game that belongs to them is not a battle like the Naga warrior, but a form similar to the talent competition. The female Naga's lower body has a lighter scale, and the skin is more delicate, and the age is not very large. They wear beautiful shells, conch, stone and other decorations on their bodies, completely revealing their own charm. Attracting the cheers of all the small town residents below, some of them twisted and danced in the body, some of them sang a song, some performed in acrobatics, and the most popular it was a female Naga with 4 arms. She held a short sword in each hand. 4 hands waved at the same time, and the sword was light and she performed a stunning sword dance. Her strength is stronger than the champion of the Naga warriors. It is about the strength of the 5th order fighter. Natalia's face was also dignified. You know that this is just a remote town in the Naga kingdom. After the 4-armed Naga sword dance, the performances of several Poseidon daughters have made the audience unattractive, and the frenetic atmosphere of the entire Poseidon temple seems to be slowly dissipating. Finally, it was the last time to participate in the Poseidon daughter. She is the youngest, probably less than 2 meters high. It is obviously shorter than other competitors. She should not be an adult. Her eyes are very bright, and she floats above the center of the white marble wall, like a small white flower. The audience was quiet, everyone stared at the last contestant and waited quietly for her performance. A string of beautiful and passionate notes floated out of her mouth and spread to the nearby waters, completely enveloping the entire Kahala town in this beautiful song. This is a poem that praises the Naga ancestors in the development of the territory and the establishment of the country and the Anbang. The voice of the daughter of the sea is still somewhat tender, but it is almost perfect to express the emotions in the song. And this grand and exciting music has undoubtedly shocked all the audiences. Welcome to the readers to read. The latest, fastest and most popular serial works are available at mobile users please to read. Arcane Age. Author, Yulin Dudu. Chapter 149. 11 ways rumors in the changing school spells are not high, except that he has mastered a few simple 2-ring intensification spells such as Bear Power. Even the most provocative 4-ring spell Change Sheep just smell its name and not see its spell model. Therefore, it is impossible to transform himself into a Naga. It is impossible for Natalia to complete the disguise. Therefore, Zaiwei has already prepared for the opportunity to integrate into the Naga society. The Poseidon Festival is undoubtedly the best opportunity. The 2 men went on for about 10 kilometers again, and there was a small town in Kahara not far away. The entire Naga kingdom's building materials are almost all from the white marble wall at the top of the sea, and these natural white stone walls are called the Stone of Heaven by the Naga people. In the center of the small town of Kakara is a temple of the sea gods. Almost all the residents in the nearby villages have gathered here, and the Poseidon daughter and Naga, which were selected for the village that was being selected for the Poseidon festival. The warriors cheered. At the center of the temple of the sea god is a large round and complete white marble wall with a radius of nearly 100 meters. It looks very magnificent and solemn, and the 2 strong Naga warriors are struggling to fight. They are holding metal long rafts, and the waves are infinite. The 2 are evenly matched, and they have not decided to win or lose. The men and women under the stone wall raised their arms high, shouting neat slogans in their mouths, desperately cheering for the warriors they supported. At the level of strength, we have reached the level of the 4th order powerhouse. But the skill is still very young. The real combat power is about the same as the 3rd order warrior. Natalia attached to Zaiwei and whispered. This is just a battle between several village brave. In the main plane, a 3rd order fighter is qualified to be the captain of the city defense or the centurion of a legion. The 2 men did not hide their presence this time, so they were quickly discovered by the Naga. Not long after, the 2 rows were covered with black ribbons, and the Naga warriors, who were more unusual on the Naga, were armed with weapons. The neat team swam over and they guarded a female Naga. This female Naga is already very old, but it is very majestic. In the zero detection, this female Naga is a 4th order caster. Who are you? Why is it here? Female Naga asked. Her voice was cold and ruthless, and her eyes were examined. Obviously, it would be a big fight if she didn't agree. I am a mage from the mainland of Orient, a plane traveler. This is my partner. We had an accident in a plane transmission and it appeared in this beautiful sea. How are you? Calling, Ziwei politely responded to the learning language spell. The plane traveler asked Naga, who was puzzled, but soon she corrected her attitude and warned, the outsider, here is the territory of the Naga kingdom, I am the sacrifice of the sea god, the guardian of the sea area. If you dare to offend the great Naga kingdom and his royal highness, then death is your only ending. I am a traveler, not a conqueror. I have no intention of being an enemy of the Naga kingdom. On the contrary, I really like to see other ethnic cultures. Are you celebrating a celebration? I wonder if you welcome me to this foreigner. Visit. The old sacrifices examined Ziwei for a long time, and Ziwei felt her mental power scan. This is rude, but Ziwei did not say anything. The triennial Poseidon festival is about to begin. We are selecting the Poseidon daughter and the Naga warriors. Outsiders, His Royal Highness Poseidon welcomes any guests who come with goodwill, but I hope you don't move some brains. Last time after the warning of Ziwei, the face of the old sacrifice was also much better. Kahala is just a small town in the frontier. Over the years, the unchanging Poseidon festival has been smashed, and there have been 2 guests with different faces. It is still a plain traveler, and it sounds like a tall man. This is really the glory given by His Royal Highness. So Ziwei and Natalia stood far below the white marble wall and watched the battle of a group of Naga warriors. The battle between these Naga warriors looks very intense, but in fact there is not too high technical content, but out of courtesy, Ziv and Natalia still maintain a look that is completely attracted to attention. After about 2 magical moments, the final winner was finally decided. The old sacrifices swam up and put on the top 3 without the color of the ribbon, in recognition of their Wu Yang. Next, I went to the competition of the Poseidon daughter. The female Naga who participates in the Poseidon festival must be a girl who is not yet married. The game that belongs to them is not a battle like the Naga warrior, but a form similar to the talent competition. The female Naga's lower body has a lighter scale, and the skin is more delicate, and the age is not very large. They wear beautiful shells, conch, stone and other decorations on their bodies, completely revealing their own charm. Attracting the cheers of all the small town residents below, some of them twisted and danced in the body, some of them sang a song, some performed an acrobatics, and the most popular it was a female Naga with 4 arms. She held a short sword in each hand. 4 hands waved at the same time, and the sword was light and she performed a stunning sword dance. Her strength is stronger than the champion of the Naga warriors. It is about the strength of the 5th order fighter. Natalia's face was also dignified. You know that this is just a remote town in the Naga kingdom. After the 4-armed Naga sword dance, the performances of several Poseidon daughters have made the audience unattractive, and the frenetic atmosphere of the entire Poseidon temple seems to be slowly dissipating. Finally, it was the last time to participate in the Poseidon daughter. She is the youngest, probably less than 2 meters high. It is obviously shorter than other competitors. She should not be an adult. Her eyes are very bright, and she floats above the center of the white marble wall, like a small white flower. The audience was quiet, everyone stared at the last contestant and waited quietly for her performance. A string of beautiful and passionate notes floated out of her mouth and spread to the nearby waters, completely enveloping the entire Kahala town in this beautiful song. This is a poem that praises the Naga ancestors in the development of the territory and the establishment of the country and the Anbang. The voice of the daughter of the sea is still somewhat tender, but it is almost perfect to express the emotions in the song. And this grand and exciting music has undoubtedly shocked all the audiences. Welcome to the readers to read. The latest, fastest and most popular serial works are available at mobile users please to read. Arcane Age. Author, Yulin Dudu. Chapter 150. In the end, the Poseidon daughter who sang the poetry of the history undoubtedly won the championship of the competition. Other Naga warriors and Poseidon daughters who came to power today are not too depressed, because they will all go to the remote eastern king of Sagana. Participate in the Poseidon festival. Zaiwei and Natalia enjoyed a warm lunch in the small town, all kinds of strange fish and shrimps and seaweed grown in the sea. In front of Zaiwei and Natalia, there is a small plate carved out of the white marble wall of the omnipotent material. The top is cut into thin slices of sashimi. It tastes good and is not a dark dish. There is no sun or sky at the bottom of the sea. Although the white marble walls on the sea will have less obvious bright and dim changes, what really distinguishes time is another tool, that is, the flower of time. This unique flower turns red in the deepest night, turns blue in the brightest day, and red to purple to blue in other times, and then from blue to purple to red. As a child, he learned to judge the time according to the color of the flower of the time. And this flower is very beautiful. Every Naga family will plant this kind of flower at home, both for timing and decoration, and many beautiful Naga girls will take off the fresh flowers on your own head. Although underwater breathing can help Siv and Natalia to survive in the sea, it is really not a good experience to keep the whole body wet and squeezed by the sea. However, this cannot be difficult to replace Zaiwei. Zero has completed the transformation of the ship in space. It can now be transformed into a large ball similar to a submersible. After Zaiwei and Natalia walked into the room arranged by the hospitable Naga master, they immediately released the black big ball. When the hatch was opened, Zaiwei and Natalia rushed in. The drainage system completely drained the seawater in the cabin. The simple oxygen generator started working and filled the entire cabin with gas similar to air. Is the magician always surprised like you? Natalia looked curiously at the facilities in the cabin. I am a big inventor. Zaiwei's eyes remained on Natalia's body and did not leave. Natalia looked down and found that her body was completely saturated with sea water. When she was in the water, it was okay. Now she is completely attached to her body. The translucent clothes completely show her beautiful figure. Natalia's face was red and red. Zaiwei, you are going to turn around. Zaiwei turned his eyes and said what he said. But Zero faithful open holographic scanning. Natalia also has a small space ring that can store about 2 cubic meters of goods. This is a third-order magical object. The space of each space magical object is real. You must first discover this space. Then, calculate the specific key of this space, and finally link this space to the magic object by magic. This series of conditions makes the number of space magical objects very rare, and there is even less circulation outside the magician, so the space magic goods are very expensive. Natalia, although the space ring has only a small 2 square meters of space, if it is auctioned out at the auction of Wangdu Pai Li, at least the price of 200,000 gold coins can be sold. There is also a hidden danger in these space rings, that is, the space of the multiplane is not completely stable, and the smaller the plane, the more likely it is to have problems. Once the space is shattered or reorganized, the treasures stored therein naturally disappear into the multidimensional plane, and there is almost no possibility of recovery. Therefore, the real strong are simply to occupy a very stable medium and large eccentric plane, firmly control the key to the ectopic plane. It is said that the Church of the Glorious Lord, the Holy Norman Empire and the elves of the Yangju Islands there are exclusive large planes. The deep sea plane where Zaiwei and Natalia are located is undoubtedly the plane that was once controlled by the maritime overlord Francis. He has already found the key to this plane and locked it into his own blood to open. But he has been defeated and died. This plane is still dominated by the powerful aboriginal Naga kingdom, so this is still an original plane that has not been exploited. However, before entering this ectopic plane, no one can think of the plane of the deep sea horn that is so vast. The size of the area actually exceeds most of the powerful countries on the continent of Orient. If you say that before entering, whether it is the pirate King Catherine or Captain Cook, and the captain of the Saint Estanba, Guguri, who is the first goal of getting the deep sea horn, then Ziwei can be sure that it is now in control. This plane is already the wild cry of all the hearts of the ambitious. Although it is a sea without light, although it is not suitable for human survival, it is a very stable medium-sized plane. If you completely dig into the resources and control the entire Naga kingdom, then you will have real power, and even compare with several kings on the continent of Orient. Money is moving. This is a precious secret. Who wants to disclose it? Who is willing to share with others? But in this way, Ziwei can't fight without it. Guguri, Catalina, Cook, no matter who becomes the final winner, will never let him go back alive. Thinking about things in my mind, Ziwei was a little extravagant, until Natalie was slap on the left shoulder, which was back. Natalia in front of her has once again put on a safari, and restored the look of heroic. What happened? Just thinking about it, Natalia has been supervising whether Ziwei is peaking in the process of changing clothes, although she was very satisfied with the appearance of Ziwei at the beginning, but the whole process was so honest that she finally made her less satisfied. I was thinking. Ziwei said his fears. Natalia is not an ordinary woman, but a blood knight who was trained by the Count of Bonaparte as a heir from an early age. In politics, her sensitivity should be very high. Ziwei, your fears are completely correct. Natalia stood up straight and started to walk in a small space. Although she is less than 1 meter tall, her legs are straight and slender after zero adjustment, which is very tempting. According to the news that Ziwei, you got from the Naga fisherman, this plane can already be regarded as a medium-sized plane. Although it is not suitable for human survival, it is naturally a good field to cultivate naval strength. Naga, this race, it is a natural sea war king. The males in them are endless, and the women are sacrifices and casters. Although I don't know the high-end power of the Naga kingdom, the kingdom of the kingdom is at least the top 2 of the magical guides. Talia's eyes flashed in the light. Although the Holy Norman Empire's magical armored ship is self-proclaimed against the legend, but the legendary underpower is true. If this plane can be fully controlled, it means that there is enough dominating the power of the Golden Sea. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Arcane Age. Author, Yulin Dudu. Chapter 151. Natalia, don't forget, the Aborigines here are not the pigs that were slaughtered, especially the ones who believe in the mysterious Poseidon. At the end of each sea offering, the of the sea will dedicate and bless champion, then is the best opportunity to observe the strength of Poseidon. I think Guguri will be above or after the Poseidon festival, even if there is a big move. Miss Natalia is also full of fighting spirit and ambition. Aristocrats, meritorious service is simply her lifelong pursuit, for fear that she will be blinded by the bright and far-reaching future, so Ziwei cannot remind. This is also true. Flea is the only key to get in and out of this plane. She does not appear, no one can call for reinforcements. So, 3 people who enter this plane, Guguri undoubtedly have the greatest advantage. The forces of the quartet coexistence, as well as the huge Naga kingdom and the mysterious sea god, take life as a bargaining chip. This is really a game, Natalia said, more excited. Ziwei, we are already in the game. If you want to live, you will only win the final victory. Want to get a country alone? This is undoubtedly a difficult challenge. Among the current quartet forces, Guguri is the most powerful. And if the plane of the plane is fully open, the advantage of Guguri, backed by the Holy Norman Empire and the Saint Estanb, will far outweigh the 2 pirates and the West. To survive in this game and get enough benefits, the first thing to do is to collect enough intelligence. Whether it is the secret of the Naga kingdom and the sea god, or the actions of Guguri, Catalina, and Captain Cook, it is a matter of great concern. In addition, the improvement of its own strength is also very important. Natalia had a lot of insights in the battle with Sea Wolf King Cook, and it is very likely that there will be a big increase in the combat power. However, Ziwei's own time in the three-ring magician stage is not long, but it has already mastered enough three-ring magic. If you want to be promoted to a fourth-order magician, you must find a three-ring top that is close to the fourth-order spell and fully master it, and then master the true four-ring spell. At present, there is Fireball in Descartes' elemental magic book, Descartes Burst Fireball, the standard spell progressive link of blasting. But I don't want such a hasty promotion, at least, in the field of elemental magic, he wants to comprehend more. And this is also an important part of the promotion of the five-ring magician to see the real world. Therefore, Ziwei has been trying to find three-ring and four-ring spells of coherent wind, water, and earth magic, and then use zero powerful computing power to promote the improvement and change of this step-by-step spell model, and then promote the fourth ring. Magician. In this ectopic surface of the sea, the content of water elements far exceeds the other three basic elements, so Ziwei will firstly break the target of the four elements of the water element. This spell is a very useful ice cone in the four-ring magic. This spell can be said to be a combination of the three-ring ice spell Ice Seal Earth and the three-ring compound spell Stinger Wind, which can release a cone of frozen storms, freeze the enemy and greatly reduce its flexibility and attack speed. Most importantly, the spell casting time required for this spell is almost zero. This is a spell that can be instant. Most spells require cast time. After enough proficiency and deduction of the spell model, you can reduce the cast time, but less time is also necessary. As the level of magic increases, the cast time is hard to avoid, which makes the magician's spells always have a chance to be interrupted by the enemy. And an instant spell is hard for the enemy to watch out. At present, only the arcane missile spells that are completely engraved in the soul of Ziwei can be instant. It's not that Ziwei is unwilling to engrave other learned spells in the soul. His time is too tense. He jumped from a magic apprentice to a three-ring magician in just a few months. He has no time to master the arcane missile spells. If you don't have a spell model, you can complete the deduction and practice it to the best of your ability. More importantly, the spells that the soul can hold are limited. It is a delusion to want to inscribe all the spells in the soul. Only some very valuable and precious spells are qualified to be engraved in the soul. In the games that Ziwei once played, there are always super magic techniques such as spells, 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 and spells. The incendiary and silver moon rituals engraved at the top of the tower are undoubtedly the super magic skills of spell enhancement and spell upgrade. The super magic technique of spell instant is undoubtedly the most practical in actual combat. It can make the caster's spelling more flexible and elusive. In the heart of the lake, Ziwei calls the magic of the tidal ocean, slowly deducing how to extract the effective part of the ice land and bite cold wind, and completely synthesize it to make the ice cone effect. Spell model. This undoubtedly puts very high demands on the mastery of the spell model. The knowledge of a basic analysis of the spell model is not enough. However, Ziwei found in the study that the spell model can be said to be the most closely related magical basis combined with mathematics. Many spell models have to be constructed with too many mathematical principles. If you can't master these principles, you can only change the style of the spell model a little by the exhaustive method. Even if the chance coincides with the ability to complete the spell, there is a big difference between the effects of perfect spells. But the mathematics level of the 35th century AD has gone far beyond this era. Although the accumulation of knowledge in many other sciences cannot be simply applied to this world, mathematics is completely the same even if it crosses the barriers of the universe. This brings too much convenience to Ziwei. His own level of mathematics is not very high, but 0 represents the crystallization of human wisdom, and the most cutting-edge knowledge in mathematics has been fully recorded. The spell models of each spell that Ziwei learned were fully documented and fully analyzed. Every simple arc change is fully explained. It can be said that in the field of elemental magic, the role of each node and connection of each spell model has been fully understood by Zero. This made Zaiwei very smooth in the derivation of the Cone spell model. After only 2 magic hours, 3 new spell models appeared in the hands of Zaiwei. One is a combination of the Ice Land and the Bone Cold Wind that are deducted to the limits of the 3-ring magic, one is the Ice Cone spell model that requires casting time, and the last one is the Instant Ice Cone symbol model. This is not the result of Zaiwei, but recorded in the Elemental Magic book. Welcome to the readers to read, the latest, fastest, the most popular serial works in mobile users. Please read. Arcane Age. Author, Yulin Dudu. Chapter 152. Slowly, deductively, step by step, observe changes from the subtle, summed up the law. This is the daily life of Zaiwei, which looks very boring, but it can make Zaiwei in it. Because in the constant exploration and learning, he not only mastered a novel and interesting magic, but also had his own understanding of the essence of the whole world magic. As the saying goes, the wooden tree is born in the end. The 9-story platform starts from the soil. When Zaiwei opened the veil that has been shrouded in the mysterious beauty of magic, he can truly control the magic, and the arcane system will also born from it. At first, Natalia looked at Zaiwei with a smile, but soon she was helpless to find that Zaiwei was once again immersed in her own thinking. The meditation of Zaiwei is very quiet, very wise, and he is handsome and exploding, as if he is the embodiment of wisdom. Or Natalia, who entered her relationship for the first time in her life, was very satisfied with her wise and powerful boyfriend. She sat quietly and looked at him, laughing for a long time. However, Missy is not the only aristocratic lady who only wants to marry a good husband. She has only ideals and ambitions in her heart. Soon she will be quiet and begin to use special breathing methods to regulate her body. The flower of the time when the wall basket was inserted changed from purple to red to purple. The morning of the day arrived again. The whole Kaharat town was alive, because today is the of the sea and the Naga warrior is about to travel to Naga. The kingdom of Sagnar, the day of the sea sacrifice. Residents of the city walked out of the house to the street, surrounded the group of Poseidon daughters and the Naga warriors, cheering and encouraging them. Kahala is just a small and unremarkable small town in the Naga kingdom. In history, there has never been a Naga from here to win the title of the sea sacrifice. Even in recent years, even the warriors who can be selected through the first round are few. It is. The farewell did not last long, and with the expectations of the villagers, these young people were on the road. Each of them is riding a seahorse, which is about 3 meters long. The head is very much like a real horse, and the back is more like a lizard creature. The seahorse swims very fast in the sea, and even if it carries passengers on its back, it can travel about 40 kilometers per magic time. In the kingdom of Naga, gold or silver is a very rare precious metal. Therefore, with only 1 gold ring and 1 silver necklace, Zaiwei exchanged 2 sea orzes from the old sacrifice of the temple of the sea god, with Kaha. The young people in La Xiaocheng set foot on the journey together. After blessing the underwater breathing spell, there will be a thin layer of air near the mouth and nose, and it is no problem to whisper. Zaiwei and Natalia admired the exotic customs of the Naga kingdom along the way, and exchanged with each other. Zaiwei spoke a few jokes and teased Natalia all the time. There was a monastery in the past who had an old monk. He raised a very beautiful horse, but then he was so old that he wanted to sell the horse. There is a knight who believes in the glory of the glory, just missing a suitable horse, and he found the old monk to buy a horse. The old monk agreed, and said to the cavaliers, "My horse is different, and has been influenced by the Lord. I want to let it go, can't say driving, thank you to the glorious Lord. Want to let it stop, can't say stop, but say the Lord is with me." The cavaliers are very happy. He is a devout believer, so he bought the horse and went home on his horse. "Thank you for the Lord of glory," the cavaliers tried to yell, and the horse ran quickly. This horse was far more beautiful than the horse that the cavaliers had rode. The cavaliers were so happy that they were very happy. Far. Suddenly, the horse came to the cliff in front of a broken road. Seeing that the horse was going to take him to the cliff, the knight even shouted, "Stop and stop." It was useless. Suddenly he was in a hurry and shouted, "The Lord and I am with you." The horse stopped immediately and stopped at the cliff. The cavaliers stunned a sweat. He looked at the cliffs that were bottomless, wiped a sweat, and piously thanked the Lord of Glory. "Thanks to the Lord of Glory." Speaking of this, Ziwei stopped. Natalia gave a slight glimpse, and suddenly she reacted. Her laughing eyes were tearful, and the upper body leaned back and forth, holding the hand of Ziwei tightly. "Ha ha ha, thank the Lord of Glory. This is the best laugh I have ever heard." Joke. As a result, her reaction was too large, and the thin layer of air created by the underwater breathing technique was destroyed, and a large amount of seawater was poured into her mouth. Natalia quickly closed her lips and activated the spells on the ring again, which allowed her to breathe again. But her face was still blushing, her lips were light, and her beautiful smile could not stop. Just then, suddenly a small squeaking sound rang in the west wire. "Mr. Traveler and MS, what are you talking about?" Ziwei turned his head and looked at it. It was the last poem of the history of poetry. The daughter of Poseidon, who had a very good voice, was called Vera, only 14 years old. Most of Poseidon's daughters are between the ages of 18 and 20, and the best time of their lives, only then, their beauty is the most beautiful. The other Poseidon daughters were very curious about this pair of mysterious plane travelers. When they saw someone starting to talk, they drove the hippocampus around, and surrounded Ziwei and Natalia stars in the middle. Novel.com. I just told a few jokes to my companions. 11 Wei explained in Naga that he had taken a comprehensive language to Natalia. "What do you say to Mr. and MS? Vera looked the youngest, but she was the most courageous, or she spoke first. "You can call me Mr. Ziwei, this is Miss Natalia," said 11 Wei. "Mr. Ziwei, can you travel between the planes? You know a lot of interesting stories. There is still a long way to go on this road. Can you give us a few talks?" The West Wei rotates back and forth, very cute. Ziwei did not respond for a time. "Telling a story? I am not the old grandfather of the village." Unexpectedly, Natalia broke the deadlock. She secretly pulled Racevi's sleeves and motioned that she wanted to hear. Ziwei has no choice but to think about it. "What story is it?" After a moment, "I finally thought of a suitable story." Ziwei brewed a mood, and this opened. "In the distance of the sea, the water is so blue, like the most beautiful cornflower petals, and it is so clear, like the brightest glass. However, it is so deep that it won't reach any anchor chain. In order to get from the bottom of the sea to the surface of the water, there must be many church steeples, one after another. People on the bottom of the sea live below this. The people on the bottom of the sea, we think so. People in our world don't know how beautiful, magnificent, and serene they are and their world. It is the true eternal depth of the sea, our greatest adventure and excavation can't reach, all our joys and prosperity can't seduce and change that. All welcome to the readers to read. The latest, fastest, hottest serials are available at mobile users. Please read.